Hey, welcome to SIP Happens. I'm one of your hosts, Sean. My pronouns are they, them.
I'm Rosie, she, her.
And with us are a couple excellent guests waiting to get the high sign that they're on screen. Yeah? Is that the high sign? Is that what it is?
That is what it is. They are on screen.
Cool. Please welcome Ben Heisler and Paige Leitman, and I think they have a guest as well. But
and Hugin. This is Hugin the cat. Say hello, buddy.
Mother, don't stop petting me. Mother, please. I don't know what this is, but
very cool. Thank you, Ben and Paige, for joining us. So today, Rosie and I are going to be drinking some tea. I know it's unexpected on this tea review show, but Rosie, what are we drinking?
Great question. Another dryad tea, which is just so our style. This particular dryad tea is called Count Cisco's Earl Grey tea. And there's no actual description, just a nice little saying here. It is known throughout the world that Count Cisco loves his Earl Grey. This Earl Grey blend is his personal favorite, and he refuses to go on any adventure without it.
Nice.
What's in it, Sean?
Well, black tea, flavoring, which is my favorite ingredient.
Flavoring is one of my favorites.
it's good. They don't tell. They have to keep the secret in house.
That's fair. Calendula petals and cornflower petals.
I live in fear because the calendula sometimes takes over all of the other flavors, especially the flavoring part. How does it smell? Don't snort it this week.
Oh, right. Let's open it up and smell it.
I can't do that.
I've already broken this packaging. Why did I not open this beforehand?
I didn't either.
Because I was going to say, just because this is clearly a professional endeavor, you wanted to show your audience how easy / difficult it is to open.
I've determined it's never going to get better. Like, we'll always just kind of be fumbling through this.
It's part of the brand.
Yeah, this smells like black tea.
It smells like flowers.
That the world's biggest lie, or at least its most frequent one, is tear here.
Yeah. Well, I tore it. I couldn't separate it. Whatever. It's fine. It smells like black tea and flowers.
How long are we brewing this?
Oh, 3 to 5 at 200 degrees Fahrenheit or 93 degrees Celsius. 3 to 5 minutes. Remember how much we put in our little diffuser?
So the last couple weeks, I've been saying ounces when I meant like tenths of ounces.
And
like
a
single ounce of tea should make like 11 cups. So these packets, if you get these from Dryad, are 0.3 ounces. So really, you want 0.1 ounce, not 1 ounce.
It's fair.
So wait, you were literally telling people to put like 3 1/3 of those into their single tea ball for the last how many weeks?
2.
Hey Ben, did you want to be on our show any longer?
No, I'm having a great time. I just want to make sure that I, as a big fan of the show, don't start putting 3 1/3 packets of that, because like I had to buy 3 tea balls so that I could get them all dunked in there at the right time, and you know.
I bought a new mug for our show today.
Ooh, tell us about it.
It's pink.
It is.
I got it at IKEA. I don't know if anyone recognizes it, but I'm not in the same spot I was last 2 times we did this, because Sean did this thing where they were like, let's invite guests, and then send out all of these invitations, and people said yes. And so now we're recording all day, every day for the rest of our lives, which is great. But I needed to be in my office because my partner probably wants to hang out in the living room during the day when I'm in here recording. So, but I bought a new mug while I was there. So it's not like fancy. It's just an IKEA mug, but it's pink.
My mug was given to me as a gift from 2 writers that I edit for relatively often. It's the Critical Role Don't Forget to Love Each Other mug. And it was given to me by Ben Heisler and Paige Leitman. So,
who are those people? What do they do? We should ask them what they do.
Jerks. Yeah, what do you guys do other than apparently write and give cups?
I mean, that's most of what it is. It's mostly writing and giving cups and hoping that people buy the things that we make based on the cup offerings. I mean, like I have bought a lot of cups. No. We're both writers, game designers. We have a streaming show that airs every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern called Feats and Fables on Twitch. It's also available on podcast form and on our website and YouTube and other places Paige will correct me on here shortly. I am sure of it.
All of those links will be available to you all. We'll post them in the chat when we're doing this live, so you can click on them and follow them at all of those places.
Yay!
So what kind of stuff do you live stream?
Yeah.
So our Monday night game, the Feats and Fables game, is I'll give you the long answer. It's a group of people we've been playing D&D and other games with for a really long time, like at least 10 years. I think Coda is the new guy, and he's been there, 8 years, 7 years, something like that?
Something like that.
And some of the people in this gaming group I have been playing D&D with for 20 years, like 3 or 4 editions ago, depending on whether or not you think 3.5 was a separate edition. So it's a long-term group of friends. And we are playing 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons with an adventure set in Aglarond, which is a part of the Forgotten Realms, kind of southeast of the Moon Sea and certainly southeast of Waterdeep.
And just to say, it's part of the truly Forgotten Realms because only the remembered realms are on the Sword Coast.
Yes. And it's kind of a Noble Bright-ish fantasy game where they're pretty clear good guys and bad guys, and the characters are going to be able to make positive changes in their world. Because that's what we need right now.
Well, it's definitely what we needed last year when we started this thing.
And do y'all have some tea to share with us?
We do. So this is a rose violet tea. Mr. Longarms do that. From Fortnum and Mason, which is an English tea company, and they are probably my favorite tea company. And they provide a whole variety of teas, particularly all of the standard English teas. But that's not my favorite drink. And this rose violet stuff is amazing.
Nice.
It's about my favorite tea. It's flat $25 shipping to the US. So I bought in bulk, and I bought it well before Brexit happened. And it's all in vacuum packs, so it won't go bad or anything. But I bought a crate of it practically before that all went crazy.
Nice. I'll have to come steal some.
Yeah. Fortnum and Mason also makes fabulous green teas. They have an elderflower green tea that'll just knock your socks off.
Do you both usually like floral teas?
I do, and I drag him along after me.
Tea's a thing to me. I'm really a coffee drinker and alcohol, but
How dare you?
I know.
On this show?
Well, basically it was because y'all booked Paige and I got to come along for the ride. So
No, I think they booked you and I came along for the ride.
well, I hadn't been booked yet. So clearly if you had been booked and I just showed up, then
You can't separate us. I mean, not with a crowbar at this point.
That's fair.
True fans of the show will know that Ben was actually on our episode 0 that never aired, our test episode, where he helped us figure out all our tech issues.
Oh, that's true. See? You were here way before me.
well,
What are our fans called? Do we have a name for them?
For our fans, we have it. Okay, so at the recording of this,
What was
at
it?
the recording of this, we have aired this many episodes so far, so we have no fans.
that's not true. I'm a big fan of the show.
I'm a big fan.
Oh, well, thank you. But we have had no one watch it aside from. Actually, I think I'm the only one who watched it. You haven't even watched the first episode yet, Sean.
Not all of it, no. It's on my list. I'm doing it today, tomorrow.
No.
I was going to say today we're going to be done with each other at the end of this day.
What are you talking about? This is live, right? Yeah. This is live Twitch.
Are we on the internet? I do like Paige's suggestion.
What was it? I missed it.
The Sip Shippers.
Sip shippers?
Yeah, because
that.
you ship
Say that.
different teas with each other.
Yeah. No, just say that 5 times fast for me, Paige.
Nope.
I've already said naughty words when trying to say it in brain, not even verbal.
It's so
Yeah,
close.
I'm just
to,
watching the web captioner try and get it right as well.
Well, my water is of an appropriate temperature, so I have added water.
As have I, or as am I.
Y'all, we're only like 9 minutes into this.
10:55.
Oh, okay. Cool.
55. And we haven't
It
even
doesn't smell like anything yet.
No initial aroma.
No. Oh, and this is another dryad. I didn't get to show this one off because I didn't use it last time. This is my other dryad T1. So
Ooh, shiny.
little dragon.
Mm-hmm.
I have
Only
a
have
thing
the-
for dragons.
I can't imagine any of us being into dragons here.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm. So, no. I actually have nothing behind me. It's really sad. I like this corner, but you can't even see anything in there. There's a Labyrinth poster up here and an Alice in Wonderland one right there, but you can't see them.
And we have our own little dragon behind us, which is our humidifier that is just spewing out.
Breath weapon.
Yes.
Hmm.
So, y'all made your tea before you came on, right? So your tea
Yes.
is steeped and ready. Have you tried it yet?
Mhm.
So tell us about the aroma. Tell us about the tea, man.
So, I'm interested in the ingredients list on this thing. Ingredients: hibiscus, rose hip, rose petals, lemon myrtle, beetroot, blue cornflowers, rose flavoring, and violet flavoring.
Ooh,
And
we
so-
have flavoring too.
Yes.
Haha.
Yeah, but yours is more specific. Ours just says flavoring.
Yes. So if you're familiar with what hibiscus tastes like, you can certainly taste it in there, but it's such a strong floral fragrance that it kind of hits your nose, and it kind of tricks your mouth into thinking it's rose flavored, which it is. But there's definitely hibiscus in there as well, and the violet is a very mild touch because violets can sometimes be kind of a lot, and it's delightful. I like anything rose flavored.
Okay, very cool. You have a huge smile on your face.
I like my favorite drink that I've had in a long time was the rose tattoo from, is that Angelot's?
No, that was from
Two Jacks.
Two Jacks.
Two
yeah.
Jacks in New Orleans. And it'll be another lifetime before I can go back to New Orleans. But it
Or
is
anywhere.
yes.
Yes, my soul is prepared.
But the rose tattoo beverage from Two Jacks in New Orleans is delightful.
I look forward to our reunion live show where the four of us meet up in New Orleans to drink tea.
I'm down.
Never been, so I'm game.
You ever been in New Orleans?
It is something else. It is
It is.
something else.
I mean,
I grew up in a household
that's
who's
good.
never going to watch this. But my parents, my mom, just like routine, we would just go down to the beach. Like that was everything was the beach. That was every vacation was to the beach and back. So I've never been a lot of places.
Well, that means that you just have
Yeah, you have a treat.
treats ahead of you.
Mhm.
Yeah, as a
New
person.
Orleans is lovely, but it's like December is the time to go. Like the week between Christmas and New Year's is perfect because boy howdy is it hot.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to do anything during the holidays because my partner works retail. So I will never experience holiday vacation.
He would
Okay.
be in yeah, so even as a person who doesn't drink alcohol, I love New Orleans because the culinary scene there is
Oh my God,
Oh my god, it's so good.
just amazing.
Do we have any foodies here at this particular group?
Well, Hugo, what do you think? Maybe not.
is it dry or wet? That's my Cuban voice.
He doesn't dig wet food.
He what?
Doesn't dig wet food. Doesn't dig people food. Like I've tried to spoil this cat every way to Sunday. Nope. All he wants is brown and crunchy.
Little sister will engage in all manner of taste
Wet food,
tests.
Yeah.
But she does not want to be on the show. She is far too secretive.
Yeah. Maybe. We'll see if she shows up.
My cats all eat wet food. My one cat has to have wet food for her like diet, and then the other cats would just eat hers, and her food is very expensive. So I bought them cheaper wet food. They are spoiled. They will not eat it without their cats are the best. I love my cats.
Yeah, they are the
I don't know
best.
where they are, but they are the best.
I'm reasonably sure my plants eat water and sunlight, but I don't take care of them at all. My partner does all of that, so I don't know.
Hey, it smells like tea.
Does it?
Ooh,
Yeah, it does.
tea that smells like tea. How exciting!
It does. It smells. It smells like black tea, and it smells very like sweet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm liking how that smells coming out. We'll hope the flavor.
Matches or I forgot my honey when I set up. I'm fired.
I got you. Here.
You did this last time and it didn't work.
Oh,
Hey, we did this in the 0 too.
Yeah.
I actually already put honey in our tea.
Oh,
Honey lunches.
I just thought that sweet from the flower.
And Ziegler is a North Georgia brand of honey, and it's the raw, unfiltered with the honeycomb in the jar.
nice.
Locally sourced, organic, artisanal.
Non-pasteurized.
Ooh, what else? What are there other things we can put on there too?
Non-GMO.
Oh yeah.
But that's the thing, because GMOs are awesome.
I mean, how would you know that, Paige? It's not like you're a biologist.
Yes. In my other career, I'm a PhD biologist, and I help clean up hazardous waste sites by drawing the line between clean and dirty. As in, this is so dirty, it's a hazard to everything. You must clean it up, even if the cleanup involves murdering every living thing there. Versus, this is contaminated, but it's not too bad, leave it alone. And I use biological, chemical, and physical models to draw that line.
And a lot of Excel.
A lot of Excel.
Yeah, Paige and I often geek over Excel spreadsheets.
My
Yeah,
favorite
Sean,
video
your
game.
Excel spreadsheets are to die for.
Mine? Mine
Yeah.
are amateur at best.
Well, I appreciate them as the person who does not have a brain for that. I appreciated logging in to see you having all of this organization.
Sean's very organized. That is one of his superpowers.
It is indeed.
You make that face, man, but you're good at it.
I know. I'm bad at compliments.
I know.
But please give me more of them. Get in the comments. Compliment me.
I have already complimented your beauteous beard.
I
I'm-
meant the audience. I was speaking to the audience.
Oh,
I was
God.
gonna say, I'm sure as soon as you start airing these and actually start having an audience, that they'll just roll on in.
Here's hoping.
So, are there
How
any
does
projects? Sorry. Go ahead, Rosie.
I was wondering how far into our 5 minutes we are.
We are just at 5 minutes. It should be.
Great.
Ooh,
Now I
that's
want to hear about projects they're working on.
Yeah. Are there any projects y'all can talk about? And keep in mind that we can broadcast this after any particular date you would like. Not that you would ever break NDA.
No, we definitely do not break NDA. We are under NDA for a project that will be very exciting, and when it is announced, it will be fabulous. It is not a D&D project. I think that's all we can say on that.
I thought it was announced, but I will.
No, I don't think it is.
Cool. Cool.
Don't tell anyone, Ben. And anyone you've already told because you thought it was announced, remind them you should not have told them.
Well, so here's the beautiful thing about life in the time of COVID is that I don't know, like I have a couple games that I'm doing with regular folks, but I don't actually have other people that I would just randomly blurt these things out to. So my Tom Holland-esque ability to just, spill everything out like there's a fish that does that.
Sea cucumber.
Yes, like a sea cucumber is negated by the power of wanting to stay safe and at home.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Projects that we he's just running laps at this point. Projects that we can talk about is I am working with Sean on a linked series of 5 dungeon craft adventures, the D&D Adventures League for GaryCon. Oh,
I
and
think
I'm so sorry.
might be helping with that.
Yes, I'm so sorry, Rosie. I apologize.
You're
Wow.
totally fine.
We'll see
Totally.
if you make the first deadline, Rusty. Then we'll decide if you're working with us or not.
That's fair.
Most of my direct work has been with Sean, so.
Paige is our lead designer.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, Paige is our lead designer, and Rosie is one of our adventure designers as well. We
Yep.
have an amazing team of 8 author designers, 2 editors, a lead designer / cartographer / limited graphic design, and a layout and a graphic design guru.
Yep.
Um,
And it's a neat project because it specifically focuses and centers on writers who are non-majority. So plenty of women, plenty of people of color, plenty of LGBT plus folks.
Yeah,
Plenty
we're a
of-
fun group.
Yeah, very good group to work with.
I'll once we're all done and past release and all of that, I'll release the Discord chat as a special BTS for everyone to read.
And the most recent products that we've worked on that are out, tell them about DRW.
Yes, I did DRW for 5. It's gonna be 5. You know, it was a number. I know the name of it at least. It's
Which
uncertain.
is?
Uncertain Scrutiny, which is a tier 3 adventure that actually takes place in Thay. So that was a delight to write. There's a lot of interesting design guidance that was passed on. It's a 6-hour adventure, which is weird because D&D Adventure League games are either 2 or 4 hours, or the rare double-wide 8-hour. And so just like we want to have 6 hours, and we want to have 3 2-hour individual sections that if people can drop in and play between those sections. So let's say you're at a con, they don't want to do a 6-hour slot, they only want to do a 4-hour slot. Allow them to chop one of the thirds out and just continue and just put the other 2 together, or things of that ilk. And so it was a lot of fun designing from, like, instead of here's a to B to C to D, blah, it's A, B, C, stop, A to B to C to stop, and then from there.
And it had a complex introduction structure.
Yes, it did. So on top of all of that, as far as interesting design space and challenges, the other big one for me was there are 2 distinct intros to the game based on whether or not you're allied with a very questionable character. And so basically, while it was billed as a 6-hour adventure, it was 8 hours worth of writing and 8 hours worth of content, because if you have that ally, the first 2 hours is pretty much completely different than if you don't. But it was exciting. I get to pull out a lot of neat, cruel, and difficult tools because it was designed. What it was billed to me was to be for people that have completed Storm King's Thunder, which is a pretty notorious loot pinata.
Yep.
So it was set to be a wrecker, and from some of the complaints that I've gotten, I can tell that I did a good job.
It was not set to be a wrecker. It was set to be a Black & Decker Pecker wrecker. And it is. So when you do the encounter builder in the DMG, you have easy, medium, hard, deadly, and then Black & Decker Pecker wrecker. So
yep, right there in the DMG.
Yep, page 82.
It's weird. I think that's only written in like hours. I don't remember seeing that in D&D Beyond.
Every DMG had that crayon highlight where it had the.
So speaking of reviews, right? What kind of? Apparently, you've gotten a few complaints about how difficult it is, which I don't know. For me, at least, that sounds like a good thing.
Yeah.
But what kinds of other reviews you've been hearing? What kind of feedback you've been getting on it?
So it's been a fair amount. So one of the other things about it is that I have gotten a fair amount of feedback is that when you have difficult content that there's a large, and not necessarily large, there's a significant opportunity for all of the characters to die. And you don't want that to be the end of the adventure at any point. And so there has to be a off-road for that and a ramp back on. And it turns out that when you get killed in Thay, they toss you in the dungeon that you were trying to get to anyways, but they take away all your shit. There's an opportunity to get it back later in the adventure, of course, because I'm not about to just be like, hey, so much for all of your hard-earned magic items, players. But
We needed that.
All of your items, but he will totally do it to one of your items, which is a different adventure we'll talk about next.
Right. Well, that was their option as to whether or not they wanted to succeed or not. And so there are some people that have been like, I went in there and I got beat, and then they took all my stuff, and it was just, it's like, so 5e originally builds, just so that everybody remembers, and you can tell me whether or not you remember this, or if it's only a Pepperidge Farm remembers kind of thing, was that you should be able to play without magic items significantly changing your playstyle.
Yep. That was absolutely part of the design documentation. That was absolutely part of the playtest.
Because in 4e, which I love, you basically had to have magic items to level up your character and to follow the progression curve and things like that.
It was just expected that you would have a plethora of magic items in 4 and definitely in 3.
Yeah.
Definitely in 3. There was less dependence on magic items in 4 than there was in 3, but 5th was supposed to be the continuation of that evolution.
And so the other thing that I have heard exciting feedback about is towards the end of it, obviously you think you're going to get out, and Thay has other plans, and there is a surprise, and it's what players don't actually like. They like to do the surprising, but being surprised, apparently not something they enjoy.
Nobody enjoys being honored.
Very much agree with that. No one likes that.
But since it's Thay, clearly they've been scrying and know where you are, and there are mages that are back in safe zone who are never going to lose concentration, that have cast a whole bunch of buffs on these people before they send them in, because they're sent to kill you. It's a callback to the traditional 3-5 scry and fry.
Oh, good days, good days.
Which, for those that don't know, is a technique where you would find out where your enemies are, find out when they're most vulnerable, and then send a whole bunch of elite bad guys right in their midst. And
well, no, as player characters, you would scry on the bad guy, wait till they went to sleep, and then just poof into their bedroom and wreck them.
Yep.
Right.
So.
We started in my home, so in the homebrew that we're doing with my friends, my DM thought that 5 was a little bit too kind on the players. So
it's very hard to die in 5. You can do it, but it's hard.
So there's a rule that if you are unconscious, like sleeping, not like been knocked out, that if you hit, you kill, because you're not able to defend yourself.
Sure.
So it's great for us, but it could happen to us as well. And we're all on edge all the time. We're like, who's watching tonight? And then somebody will roll like a 2. We're like, we're dead. That's it. They're going to sneak up on us and stab us through our tent, and we'll be dead forever. But my DM has also changed a lot with the magic items because of that reason. Mm-hmm. Because 5's challenge ratings are based on not having magic. Your party doesn't have magic weapons. Yeah. And so we have like metalworks and artisans who can like use certain metals. So like mithril makes a long sword versatile, so you can use it with dex instead of strength. Or you can get a glass sword. It might break, but it does more, it does bleeding damage, like it inflicts bleeding, so that it's still not a magic weapon for purposes of overcoming the particular like resistances, but it's still a leg up from like spending 5,000 gold on a whatever, insert +1 weapon here or whatever.
Right.
So,
well, when it comes to the 5th edition CRs, opinions, I have them.
So spill the tea. Go ahead. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
Well, I do want to point out that this is the only person that has written Thay in 5th edition.
Yes, that was very exciting.
You
But I
got
was going to
credit for
say,
that, so that's exciting for you.
yes, there was a lot of research, and it was a great honor for the AL lead designers to be like, we know a good person that can make Thay difficult, and came to me. So that was great.
Yeah.
And I just want to add on, while I've gotten a number of reviews where people think there are opportunities for improvement, I have more recently been getting more people that tell me how they really enjoy it, and it's the first time they've really been challenged in a long time in 5e, especially in Adventurers League and things like that, which is always great to hear.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's awesome.
We played the Tiamat campaign. That was my first one. I got this freaking tattoo, which you can't see because I have bracelets on. I got my death saves. Where is it? It's somewhere on my wrist. I swear. It's just hard because, wrists don't bend that way. But anyways, it's a death save.
Oh, I
tattoo.
see it.
Oh,
I see
nice.
it.
I got it, and I had to use it one time the entire campaign. I was like, this is bull. I want to feel afraid for my life when I'm fighting a 5-headed dragon goddess.
If you want to feel afraid for your life, you should join the Feats and Fables team, because Paige very recently TPK'd us.
Okay, like maybe a balance.
So the thing is about 5e, just from a design standpoint.
Yeah.
Here, you scoot over a little bit because you're off frame.
No, I'm good.
If you cut off.
Thing about 5e from a design standpoint is we all, I don't know if y'all participated in the playtest, but the playtesting was extensive.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, I'm 98% sure that anything over about CR12 was never playtested. I really don't think it was. And I am about convinced that the 2 Tiamat book adventures that started off with 5th edition were definitely written before the rules were finalized. And that's why they're a cakewalk, particularly in the current meta with Tasha's and Xanathars and Volos. Yes. So the other thing...
Thank you, Sean.
Yes. So page 82 in the DMG has a modifier for number of critters, and it multiplies the effective XP of the encounter. I think that math is absolutely flat out wrong. Now, having said that, the monsters in the monster manual, 100% chumps. But Volos and Mordenkainens and Ravnica and Theros have now got monsters that are almost dialed in.
I agree. Yeah.
And they've done a lot of exciting things in Theros with the mythic monsters that take it a lot of ways, in my opinion, back to 4E, where the monsters have multiple phases, where you have to change up your tactics. And it's not just I run up and I hit it with my sword 3 or 4 times, and now I'm done and I wait for my turn so I can hit it with my sword 3 or 4 more times.
Yep. You basically got kind of enraged timers on it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
The
in like the non-MTG settings.
and there was something else I was going to say about monsters.
Rawr, I'm a monster. I have a lair.
That's from 4th edition, silly goose.
I was just trying to fill time while you were trying to remember.
I don't remember what it was. If it's
I appreciate, so one of the challenges that I've had to overcome as a DM, so I work with teenagers and I homebrew all my stuff. Thank you. And one of the things that I had to really overcome was like balancing, you want your one baddie, as I like to say that you want your one, right? Like your dragon or your whatever, like the villain you've created this whole time. And I find in 5e, and probably I've only ever played 5e because I was a late bloomer into this world.
welcome. Yeah, welcome.
Thank you. It's nice to be here. But I find that like one baddie is not enough unless they have layer actions and legendary actions. And I make them up sometimes. I'm like, well, I know you're not really a mythical level monster, but I'm going to give you legendaries because otherwise, if I roll bad on initiative for that thing, it's dead before it even gets a turn.
So there's a couple of things that I can recommend to make your solo monsters more spicy and exciting. One is to steal basically directly from 4th edition, where solo monsters would have initiatives like full action on 25, 15, and 5.
Okay.
So it's not just a legendary action, which can be interesting, but usually it's just like a swipe or a move.
Or like knockback.
Right. And the other thing that I would recommend is Matt Colville actually has some excellent advice for modifying your solos, where he gives them each 3 distinct extra options they do on each of their turns, and it goes through that list. And he has a few suggestions, but really if you have a good idea of what your monster does and the way you want your players to be challenged by it, whether it's having extra ads show up, like minions, or having there be difficult terrain or a lot of movement abilities, you can bake those in and just make your solo fights much more exciting.
The other thing you can do that's cheap, very low impact, is build your encounter with multiple monsters. Roll initiative for those multiple monsters, and then put 1 token down on the board. And so if like monster A goes on 18 and monster B goes on 12 and monster C goes on 6, your 1 solo monster goes on those 3 points.
Okay.
You don't run the hit points up too much.
Right.
Like, hit points are largely amount of time sometimes, like how many rounds the combat has gone rather than how much damage they've done.
Right. That's true.
Hit points will persist until fun is done.
Right.
Pretty much. Until people feel like they have triumphed, not just that they scrubbed the monster without issue.
Yes.
Most of my groups have made it easier on me because nobody wants to play a healer. So they have made it a lot easier recently, which I appreciate. Because all of a sudden people are going down. I'm like, okay, your druid's down and that's it. None of you have healing, right? Okay.
Introduce your teenagers to the Grave Cleric and point out that ability where they can cancel the DM's crits.
Oh my god, it's so good.
Yeah, it is.
We stick to player's handbook for the beginners because otherwise their brains will explode with the amount of options, and mine will too because they don't remember what they can do. So if I have to remember everything that everyone has to do, forget it, I'm out. So for all my beginner groups, I'm like, here are your very limited options. But can I be a centaur? Is that in this book? Nope. So stick to that.
Yeah.
Yes,
No,
you
that's
can.
absolutely the right way to do it with new players.
And that's the same thing Paige does anytime anyone wants to play an elephant person. She just says, is that in? No, it's not.
You're not allowed to play Loxodon.
That's right. No Loxodon in the Paige realms.
So, yes and no. The thing is...
Sean, you okay over there, friend?
Yeah,
they
good.
are fine. In every sense of the word, they are fine.
I'm not just particularly calling out Loxodon for any particular reason, Sean, am I?
No particular reason at all.
So I'm a stickler, right? For a fantasy world, my brain gets real stuck. People are like, can I play pixies? I'm like, there's no playable race for pixies. So So with this campaign that I started, I was very mindful of I was like, you can play anything, right? Like literally I got all the books from D&D Beyond and I sent out campaign links. I was like, if it's on D&D Beyond, you can play it. It's the most diverse world there is. I have 4 elves, a human, another human maybe, or like a half elf. I was like, you all right, okay, cool.
It's a lot like when Baldur's Gate 3 first came out and everyone was playing with the character generator and Larian had to come out and say, stop making just plain Jane humans. We have so many more options, please.
Yeah.
But then my thought for that was that maybe people knew they weren't going to be able to keep their character, so they were like, whatever, like, and go with whatever the basic. I agree. I think I had fun making characters on Baldur's Gate when I was interested in that.
I'm just going to agree with you and say basic is right.
Rosie, as a stickler for what things exist in what particular realms, what are your feelings on Warforged? I
feel like this question had my name attached to it, but was really directed at Paige.
No. It was directed at you. with a glancing blow at Ben.
Yeah,
There was a cleave arc
Yeah, I was
over
about to
here.
say it was a cleave, not a glancing blow, but sounds good to me.
I have become more flexible in my belief system because the whole idea is that kids are supposed to have fun. So we have a Warforged in one of my in one of my earlier classes, so not my main group, and it works. Is it something that I would want like long term in my campaign forever? Maybe, maybe not. But he has a panther. So in that group, I have him. He has a mechanical panther, and then my ranger has a panther. There's a lot of pets. Pets are a big thing for a lot of my groups.
Yeah.
We have an owl bear. One of my groups has an owl bear named Blueberry.
Aww.
That's very cute.
Yeah.
We have
And then my other
cute.
group is pure drama. Pure drama. All of them together are just drama. I'm sorry?
What kind of drama?
I was about to say, tell us more.
Well, let's see. Well, there's actual intergroup drama with them, which we're working on. But as far as their characters go, one character just found out that his dad is a human trafficker who was told, this is my fault. I got into it.
This went to 11 so fast.
Yeah,
Yeah, so he works for the Whisper Keeper, and in working for the Whisper Keeper, there's a big war. So we're doing racism is our big topic, and like what you learn isn't like what you learn in your books isn't necessarily what's true. Only history. The victor tells what the history is. So there's this big war between the orcs and the royalists, and this person's dad is trafficking people into the northern part of the continent for some reason, using mind slugs to control them. Thank you, Baldur's Gate. And also found out that his sister, who he thought was dead, is not dead, and that his mom is like having there's probably some sort of mental illness. He overheard her talking to him and his sister as kids. Like, clean up your toys. There shouldn't be toys on the ground. So he's got a lot on his plate right now to process.
No wonder you can't remember what everybody's powers and abilities are if you got that much going on. Damn.
Oh, this is my own world. It's a huge world with lots and lots of lore going on. We've got gods that are coming back as per the usual.
Of course.
That's what they do.
Yeah, so it's fun. That's just one character. Exactly.
They're like Jean Grey.
Yeah.
Oh, they're not like Uncle Ben.
Hey, Sean.
Yeah.
I love talking about D&D, but tell me how you're enjoying your tea real fast.
Okay.
D&D.
Ooh, I like that.
I wanted to do, well, whatever. We already talked about this, Sean. How Sam Riegel stole my idea right out from under me.
He does that.
I mean, if you're going to have
Sam's a good personal friend of both me and Rosie, and he sometimes just takes our ideas.
It's the second time Critical Role has stolen an idea of mine right out from under me, and I was really upset. Anyways, how's your tea?
I really like it.
It tastes like tea.
It tastes like tea. It's a black tea with just enough flavoring to be subtly different from like a Lipton Black or kind of like what Americans would think of as their standard black tea.
Yeah.
But I find it really satisfying. I find it the flavor palette's really refreshing. I really dig it, and then I think it would take honey really well too.
I do too.
I've almost drank all of it, so I can't add black sage honey to it now, but next time.
Yeah.
I think this is like a 4 for me.
Oh, we have to tell everyone our rating system. Do Paige and Ben know our rating system?
What? There's a rating system? You've been hiding a rating system from us?
Yeah,
you all
tea.
have Sean, right?
Go ahead.
I don't have it pulled up. You are my co-host. You're supposed to have this. I'm doing the tech.
I got it. I will bring up the rating system. While I'm doing that, Ben, why don't you tell us what you think of your tea?
So I mean, it tastes like flowers. It's like a mouthful of flowers, which is just great.
Is it perfumey? Does it taste like somebody squirted like a feminine perfume in your mouth?
It kind of smells. It smells, and so it's interesting because it smells like I just kind of like shoved my nose in like some potpourri.
Okay.
There's a lot of rose. There's like I can definitely make out the hibiscus, like, but it kind of like all blends together very smoothly.
Okay.
And it tastes sweet and very flowery, kind of like I'm a bee, just going whole hog.
I did put honey in it.
I'm a bee going whole hog.
Yeah.
You heard it here.
So on this scale, Ben, let us know what you think of it. Our scale goes from 0 stars to 5 stars. And I will read you exactly what I wrote in the middle of the night when I put this together. 0 stars, bad. Would recommend against. 1 star, fine. Would not order. Would drink to be polite. 2, below average. Would drink, wouldn't buy. 3, good. Would buy, not preferred. 4, great. We'll order again. And 5, awesome. Must keep on hand.
I like how 5 turned shouty.
It is all capitalized.
Oh, I could tell by his delivery. It was puissant in its.
Yeah, Sean was speaking in all caps.
Yep. So where does your tea land for you and for Ben and then Paige?
For me, it's probably a 3. Like I enjoy it, but is it something I would seek out? No, but if it's set before me, I will drink it happily. But I'm also much more of a coffee drinker. Like something about the black bitterness of coffee just appeals to my heart and soul.
You don't drink it black or bitter.
Shh, shh.
So it's unfortunate when you bring your partner on with you and they can out you for all of your lies.
Yeah.
You and I will do a special episode where we'll review this.
Oh, that sounds good. I've got some of that downstairs. Actually, while we were in Portugal 2 years ago now, I got really turned on to espresso, and that's kind of like if I have an opportunity to get that, that's what I'm going to go for.
Which is black, but not bitter.
Yeah, true.
If they're doing it right.
If they're doing it right.
Paige, what did you think of the tea? Where would you rate it?
So this is one of my favorite teas ever, and I rated a 5, must keep on hand at all times.
Which, as we already discussed, she does.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And Rosie?
This is probably a 5 for me.
Wow.
Wow.
I love plain black tea a lot. I like coffee too. So my morning always, except for this morning, because I knew I was going to be drinking 3 glasses of tea today. My mornings always start off with coffee, and then I'll have tea later in the day. But I grew up drinking black tea as a kid. My mom always had black tea in the house, and I always look for a good cup of black tea that is not Lipton because I like to be a little bit more exciting with my teas. And this is that for me.
Do you take your tea with cream or sugar?
Or lemon.
Or lemon?
Or honey.
Or honey?
Or
Not lemon usually. I will drink. When I was younger, we always had tea with cream and sugar. I have grown out of that a little bit. I appreciate the flavor of tea as is. I am not opposed to honey, though. I really do like. I mean, I have such a sweet tooth. I love sweets. So if my tea can be sweet, then that's great. But I didn't put any in this one, mostly because I forgot it in the kitchen. And it was still good. Sean?
I enjoy honey. I have a collection of Savannah Bee Company honeys over here next to me. I don't usually put anything else in. No. I rarely put like milk or sugar or anything else in.
That's smart.
And even if I do put in honey, it's a relatively small amount. I like tea to taste like it's supposed to taste. Usually it's like, oh, well, I'm going to put honey in this so that I can drink it.
I like to put honey in it to like lift it a little bit. Sometimes it pulls up some of the flavors a little more.
Yeah.
If I have to put honey in it to drink it, then I don't like it. If I can put honey in it to make it more flavorful as is, then that's fine. What do you think of this one? Is this a 3 or a 4 for you or less?
For me, this is a 4.
All right.
This is something that I would seek out to purchase. So like the other way that I like to describe threes is if I'm getting a bundle of something and it's mostly like fours and fives and there's a few threes in there, like I'm fine with that, right? Like I'll buy threes if they're in a bundle. But if I'm buying individual individual keys, then I will. I'm looking for fours and fives, and this is definitely a 4 for me. I enjoy this. If we were out of it, say la vie, but I think most of the time I'm going to be trying to keep this in stock.
Nice.
So we are running a little short on time, but Paige, I wanted to give you a moment at least to talk about your recent publications, because I know we talked about DRW with Ben, but what have you had recently come out?
Well,
Anything in season
10? Ben and I'm listed as author, and I think, or lead designer, and I think Ben is with special thanks to.
I'm so special.
You are very special. Because the truth is, if you hire one of us to write, you get us both. Like, that's just flat out how this marriage works, and I wouldn't want it any other way.
Oh yeah, some of the most cruel and devious things in that DRW adventure come directly from this beautiful and talented and hateful woman. Hateful towards players, not towards anything else.
I love players. I love players. They are delicious.
You love the sound of the screens?
I do love the sound of the screens. But we together wrote an adventure for season 10 of Adventurers League. It is 1001, and it's called The Frozen North. And it's kind of funny because the 1000 adventure written by Sean Merwin, which is the Ice Road Trackers, is cute and sweet, and it's got talking animals, and it's adorable.
It's so Disney.
It is so Disney, and it is a fabulous mod. I have run it a bunch of times. It remains one of my most popular adventures for me running on for pay. Like, I'm on a service called startplaying.games where people can sign me up to run games for pay. It's one of my most popular games, and I love it. It's a fantastic mod. And then I wrote the sequel to it. With Ben and I wrote the sequel to it, and it's a horror movie.
Oh yeah, we put so much horror into that is on the cutting room floor.
Yes, like so it went basically from Winter Wonderland to The Thing, and I got lit off the leash. They said we want to make it scary. We want to have themes of darkness and oppression and hopelessness. I'm like, can do. And then I wrote it, and they're like, "Whoa, buddy!" I'm like, okay, I'll dial it back a little bit.
I've seen the director's cut. It is genuinely terrifying.
Awesome.
Thank you. But it's cute. It's a survival horror mod, and I believe we have created both survival and horror.
Yeah. It's always a challenge. Yeah, I was just gonna say it's always a challenge when you're writing the survival bits, but some of the new rules for season 10 and for Rhyme make it more interesting rather than just everybody makes a couple saves and somebody makes a survival check.
Yeah, I generally hate fighting the environment. Like, I am not the DM that is going to track every inch of tunnels in Out of the Abyss or every hex of jungle in
Tomb Annihilation.
I was about to say, what is that adventure I dislike? Tomb Annihilation. Like, it's just not fun. It is not what I want to play. It is not what I want to run. I hate it. Thanks. So it's a challenge for me, particularly, to make fighting the environment make your heart pound.
Yeah.
I think you did a great job.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right. Well, we're coming up on it here.
Yeah.
Right?
We have a lot of things we could say.
Yeah, I was about to say, this feels like we just got started.
Yeah.
Well, that just means we're going to have you on again.
Sounds great.
Anytime.
We'll book you for March 2022.
By then, the project that we can't talk about, we can probably talk about.
Yeah.
Maybe. Who knows?
Right.
Y'all, thank you so much for being here.
Yes.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, audience, for showing up. Future Sean, who is probably moderating things on the Twitch chat right now, Go write your papers for grad school.
You've been saying this for 3 weeks now. Go do that.
Do you have papers you need to write, boyfriend?
Let me promise you, he's been doing it before then, Rosie.
I assume such, obviously.
Semester started in October.
Oh my
And
gosh.
ends
All right, future Sean, if this comes up in our next episode, we're in trouble.
We're recording our next episode in 45 minutes.
Yeah,
Exactly.
we'll get it
Why are
done.
the papers done?
Oh my god.
But I will hock you a chonic about those papers in our personal life offline.
Great. See, this is why we have Paige and Ben with us, so they can continue to bother you even when we're not on here.
Yep, and I was Jenny too. You'll be a big trouble.
Yep, we have Jenny later this evening. We're recording with Jenny later this evening, and yeah, no, we're in the same grad school program in the same cohort. I'm pretty sure she's kicking my ass. So that's fine.
I mean,
You can do it.
yeah, but
You got
I can't imagine asses she wouldn't kick. So
It's fair.
It's
For a
fair.
girl who weighs 90 pounds and is 5 foot nothing, she kicks a lot of ass. Because she's
Tune in 2 or 3 weeks whenever we put Jenny's episode up. She's great.
she is
Yeah.
great.
she's wonderful.
But I wanted to give a shout out to Feats and Fables, obviously, where you can see Ben and Paige on Mondays. You can follow you where on Twitter?
To adventure!
To adventure.
That's the thing.
Inadvertently, yeah. Follow me to adventure.
Adventure.
That's your catchphrase. That's my bad. That wasn't intentional. Where can they follow you personally, though?
So I'm available on Twitter at Paige Leitman. That's PAIGELEITMAN. Feats and Fables is at Feats and Fables.
All
also
of this
our
will come
website.
up in the chat
Yeah.
as well.
Yep.
Ben?
And you can find me on Twitter at Zentarum, which is the greatly misunderstood faction in the Forgotten Realms.
Spell it.
ZHENTARIM, and then PR is added onto that because we have an image that we're trying to gently improve.
Ben is a public relations guy in real life too. So
Yes.
Beautiful.
What about you, Rosie?
I'm at Rosie_games on Twitter. Don't find me anywhere else. I don't use anything else regularly.
cool.
I'm at Sean Banerjee on Twitter, which I don't use regularly, but I don't use anything else regularly either, so find me there. It's really just going to be about this show now.
Yeah. That's all that matters, really. Thank you again, Paige and Ben, for hanging out with us and having some tea.
Lovely to chat with you.
It was great. Thank you for having us.
Of course. And, what is it we say at the end of this? Sip happens?
Sip happens.
Sip happens.
Sip happens.
See you next week.
Bye.